who says namaskar. But after lunch, for our afternoon talk, best time to speak about space? Well, of course it is. Because this is where the inspiration and the imagination should kick in. And I hope you're ready to imagine. Because ladies and gentlemen, prepare your spacesuits. We are launching right now. I hope you imagine that. But before we talk about space, let's keep our spacesuits aside. Okay, I could see a smile turn upside down. We'll surely do that. And this one's for you. Before we talk about space, the Cambridge Dictionary released the word of the year for 2024, and it's manifest. So manifest, according to its definition, means to imagine achieving something, and in that process, you achieve it. I'm not sure if it's just the imagination that does the job, but it surely becomes the seed to reality. And humans are great with imagination. We were imagining going to space right now. But think about thousands of years ago. You have no tool in hand, you're using stones to light fire, and you're looking up at the sky thinking, what could possibly be there? How insane do you need to be? Well, thankfully, we were insane enough to actually be reaching the stars. And now there's even more insanity to be aiming for the galaxies. And if I could expand my own imagination, universes and beyond. Because guys, welcome to 2025. We have been talking about a new era filled with transformation, innovation, exploration. But most importantly, there's action, there's constant action. And this is the beauty of this era. The process that is from idea to execution that took us so long, thousands of years to get here, is now happening within today and tomorrow. And hundreds of such innovations are taking place every day. Each of these innovations have utmost capability of changing your and my own life right now as we speak. Now, the other significant impact that this new era has had is that now no one in this room needs to be convinced that space is important. At least I'm hoping so, because it is. Space is important not only for our country, our economy, but also for our people and for the future of humanity. It answers the question of what's next. Because space is like a time machine. It gives you the past and the future. Like Sir very well mentioned, your past can show your future. Because the question we're trying to answer is, was Mars ever like Earth? If so, what happened? Then does Earth also share the same fate? These questions give us a direction. Well, of course, your GPS and your internet works on space technology, but it also gives a direction to human evolution. Now, to understand what the new age possibilities in the space sector are, let's see what's happening in space today. Because space today is the most exciting. We are talking about collaborations, national, international, private, government. These emerging partnerships are increasing our capability to address global challenges like climate change, food security. So one of the most important applications of the space technology is in the agri-food sector. It has the capability to reduce costs tremendously and increase its efficiency by multiple folds. Then there's increased quality of life. You and I are much more connected today thanks to the internet. This increased connectivity has made healthcare, education, digital transactions much more accessible than ever. And these factors have obvious contribution into economic growth and job creation. So now that we spoke about the possibilities in space today, what about tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years in the future? Because to understand the true potential in the space sector, we must also speak about the future of space technology, the future of space innovation. And this is where I would like to introduce level Z.0, space Z.0. Well, Z.0, because Gen Z is going to be the major drivers and decision makers of how the space sector will be defined, this new space level will be defined. And one of the most important focuses of this space Z.0 would be to build a resilient Earth using the energy that we'll harness with space technology. Now, space will also be converted into a highly profitable sector that offers us the future plan, term it as humanity's biggest investment. Because imagine again, we are talking about space colonies, interstellar traveling, asteroid mining, resources that are beyond measure. We will soon become interplanetary species. It's going to be a reality very soon. We will transform barren lands into thriving ecosystems, create new homes, but with it, create new hope, new aspirations. But one thing is clear, we humans will not be alone in this journey. We will have interesting partners to work with. Our own creation, artificial intelligence. We will partner with our own creation for our own evolution. And this is also where space has the potential to redefine humanity. Because when we see Earth from space, all we see is our home. No country, no borders. And that is when we'll start defining ourselves as people from Earth, as I just did. I hope you do too. But that is when we'll start defining ourselves as people from Earth. So now that we know space is important, we know what's happening in the space sector, and we know that we have entered a new era, what should be the new question that you and I should be asking ourselves? And this is a very right time for us to ask this question. What should be the new question for this new era? How can we join? How can you and I be a part of this amazing transformation that's happening within the world of space science? You know, when we think about space, and it has happened with me as well, when we think about space, we limit ourselves, our imagination, and space itself to only being a scientist's playground, which of course it is. But space can never be limited. It is infinite, and so are its possibilities for us. Space is something very interdisciplinary. We had an amazing example of space law. And to talk about it more, we can also speak about Space 2030 agenda proposed by UNOOSA, that's the United Nations for Outer Space Affairs, which puts out 4 core objectives: space economy, space society, space accessibility, and space diplomacy. So just by the words, even if you're a lawyer, an environmentalist, a socialist, an economist, this is also space doing this to us right now. But I'll continue. So even if you're an economist, a socialist, an environmentalist, the space sector needs you. Because the market in space has shifted from being technology driven to being demand driven, where you and I, government and private sectors, are now acting as customers for this space technology. And it's high time for us to remove our customer tag and be a part of this process of creating magic. Lastly, space isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And in its very true sense, all we'll ever need is a bit of space. Thank you.